You have already seen the thumbnail, and this is how it's going to look. So what you need is a reference image. You can find them on Google Images. While you are in the Blender file view, up in the right corner, you will not be able to see this now, but it's a little box for align to view. You want to uncheck that, then load reference image. Then when you have done that, the image will appear like this. So then you just have to select it, press R, X, and press 90 on your keyboard. Then press G, Y, and move it back. Then you can press on this, Y here. And then we just have to make a circle, scale it down with S, and then G, Z, move it up. And my image reference here is not centered. So I will select the image and then press G and X to move it in X-axis. And then I will try to center it as good as possible. I also have to make the circle a little bit bigger so I see it centered, and I can see here on the sides it's looking quite good. To make it easier to see, you can select the image and then go down here and opacity and then turn it down. And for some images it will be easier to see. And then up here we can press this and select this one. And if we uncheck this here, this will make it so we can't move this reference image. So we select the circle again, go to side view, and now we just need to make the top here a cylinder. So we press tab, or we can press up here, go into edit mode, then press E and then Z or C. So now we only can extrude it in the C axis or Z axis. And then up here we want to select the X-ray mode. So when we drag click like this, we select all of the vertices all around. If you can't drag click, you need to have this selection box selected. Then we just press G, Z to move down like this. And then to make these indents here, we just need to make loop cuts. So press Ctrl R and then left click, move it up, and then try to center them in these things here, like this. And then we can press up here to select the edges. We can also press either 1, 2, or 3 to switch between them. So we press 2 here, then we press Alt and left click, and then Shift, Alt, and left click on these two. And then we just have to press Ctrl B to bevel them like this. And then we press E, S to scale in like this. And then we also see that now it's going in a little bit like this. It might be hard to see. So we press S and then Z, and to scale them in Z axis. And with the top, we just press Alt and left click and press F. And then we press I to make an inset. And then press E, move it down in Z axis. And then I again. Now we just have to select these edges like this, and then press S and move it slightly inwards. Then we can press right click in object mode and shade auto smooth. And in other versions, it's called something else. I don't really remember what it's called, but it's under shade smooth here. Then for the sides, because you might see on a lot of pistons, this side here is flat. So now I will add a loop cut, Ctrl R up here, and I will add another loop cut just under it. Then I will go into the side view. I will select X-ray mode. I will also select the face selection. So I will select with drag click like this, and then shift and drag click like this. And now we just have to go up here, individual origins. Then when we press S and Y, we will flatten them. We will scale them in the Y axis. Then we can go back to median point and also out of X-ray. And when we press S and Y now, we can move them closer to each other. And then the next step is to make this circle here, so we can make a hole between this piston head. So we just have to make loop cuts again. And now we can scroll our mouse wheel up a few times. And we want to have an odd number, so we have a line centered here. And I want to add one more. So, and then I left click and right click to center it. Then I will go into the face selection again, go into the side view, X-ray, and then I select the faces like this in a square. And then with a add-on within Blender, you can right click and then something called loop cuts. We want to make a circle, and then it makes a circle for us like this, and then we just have to press S and scale it down. But I made a mistake like this, so I press Ctrl C. I want to have the individual origins again, and now I can press S and scale it down. And I can also press G and Z to move it up a little bit. And now I also want to press I one time to make it go in like this. And then, because I have both sides selected, I can press Ctrl E and then bridge edge loops. I will also go in here when this is selected, press Ctrl R, make a loop cut. I can press Ctrl B, bevel it like this. And then we press Alt and left click and Shift Alt left click. We bevel with Ctrl B. Then we select the faces and Alt left click to select these ones. Then we press delete and faces. So I realized on my model I made a mistake here. I don't know what happened. So I select these vertices with Shift, then M at center. And then I will do the same on these ones at center, at center, at center. So if you have that, remember, you can always fix small things like that. You don't have to redo everything. And now we just have to add a solidify modifier. And we can increase the thickness. I want to increase the thickness inwards. And I think this is making it so it looks more realistic, because no piston head is thin like paper. If you want to add a material, you go down here to materials, add a new one, add some metallic. The roughness can stay the same. You can turn it down a little, but this is very important. You turn this up and also this one up. And you won't see anything right now, that is because you're in this viewport shading, and you want to go to this viewport shading to get to see the color. If you turn down the roughness here, you will see you get some reflections. But if you want to render it, as you saw in the beginning, you go to here, and now it's in EV. So you go to this render settings here, EV. I like cycles, so I go to cycles. If you have a GPU, you can select it here, and I will unselect this one. And since I have a bad computer, I will turn this down to 100. And I know my GPU is acting up a little bit right now, so I will use the CPU. And then the easiest is to just go to the shader editor here, and then go to world. And then also with a built-in add-on with Blender, you can press Ctrl T with the node wrangler enabled. So in here, you just have to add an HDRI, and HDRIs you can find on Polyheaven and other sites. You just have to go into Google and search for HDRI. And with that, you get free lighting and free reflections. And if you want to make it easier for a computer, you can go to film and then transparent. So now it only renders your piston. I can also unselect the empty now, because I don't need it. One thing that I forgot to add is the curvature of the piston head down here, and that is very simple. You just go to the side view, tab into edit mode, go to X-ray like this, so you can see through it. Then one important step is to press this icon up here, or you can also press O to unselect it and select it. And then you just have to select a vertex like this with right click to select on both sides. When you have these selected on both sides, you just have to select this icon up here and then press G and Z to move it up. And then if you make this circle bigger, you affect more vertices around. If you have a lot of vertices, this can take a little bit. And like that, after some time, it will look like this. And the more time you spend on it, the smoother it can get. But that's the basics. So if you like this video, give it a like. If you want to see more of these videos, subscribe. And I will see you in the next video.